Hello, so we are at Liburnicon 2013 in Opatija, and we are doing an interview with an honored guest, Jacqueline Carey. Hello, Jacqueline.
Hello.
So your first novel, Košilj Zart, has been published in Croatia this year, translated. So could you describe it in few words?
It's an alternate historical fantasy that's set in my version of medieval Provence. And the plot's really too big to sum up in words, so I'll just say it's action, adventure, intrigue, romance, featuring a masochistic courtesan spy heroine named Fedra no Delane.
Okay. Košilj Zart has been actually published in 2001. So it has been 12 years of experience since then. So what is your way of looking at it from this point of view in 2013?
One of the most wonderful things is how, ever since it was published in 2001, it's continued to find such a great readership, both by being published in new languages like Croatian, but even continuing to do so in the English language, and books like 50 Shades of Grey, love it or not, sparked interest, and a lot of fans who said, oh, if you think you want to read that, have I got something for you? And it's wonderful that it has had such a, continuing to find such a great readership.
What are, in your opinion, the most important references to the real world from your series, Košilj's Legacy?
It's hard to pick one. The setting came about, the initial setting, because on a trip to the south of France, I really fell in love with the landscape, the quality of the light, the scent of lavender. But it's all, the research has been wonderful. I haven't been able to travel to every place I've written about, so one of the things I'm most excited about on this trip is going to Dubrovnik, because that plays a really important role in the second book. And I will be following in the footsteps of my heroine rather than preceding her this time.
Since you touch very sensitive topics in your books, like sexuality and religion, could you tell us something about public's special reactions or something, special comments have you received?
You know, it's funny. I thought when this came out in 2001 especially, it was very groundbreaking because it was provocative because of the sexuality. And I thought for sure it's going to get banned somewhere. And that hasn't happened. I actually think in a subversive way it's a rather feminist work. And more people have responded to that and seen that the themes I was dealing with had a purpose, which I'm really happy to say, although getting banned probably would have resulted in some excellent publicity.
In which way do you include psychology in your writing process?
Psychology is something I studied in college and have an undergraduate degree in, and that just comes from a lifelong interest in people. But I think it, the emotions, the psychology of the characters is part of the drama and part of what drives the plot. It's all interwoven for me, but I do like to get into the interior workings of the characters, particularly my first-person protagonists.
Okay, so could you describe your process of writing, like in phases? How do you write? How do you imagine your story?
It's not something I can articulate easily, but generally I'll start with an inkling of an idea, and I kind of let that grow and germinate and start doing research around that idea, start thinking about characters, thinking about plot, and I don't start the actual writing until all the major plot elements are in place, all the major characters I have somewhat fleshed out in my mind, and I've done enough research to give me the background to develop the world and the setting, and then we start.
What are your plans for the future?
At the moment, I'm working on a contemporary fantasy, which is somewhat of an urban fantasy, although set in a small resort town. And I've got one more volume yet to finish on that. And after that, I don't know, I have some ideas, but none I'm ready to divulge yet.
How do you like here in Croatia? Is it your first time? Do you plan on visiting us more often?
This is my first time, and I've so far only been here a couple of days and just here in Opatija, and it's been absolutely wonderful. I'm already planning my return visit, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the trip.
So some places inspired you for your books, or?
Pretty much every place inspires me, but I have a feeling I'm going to come away from this trip with a lot more inspiration.
Would you like to tell your readers and our viewers something in the end?
Just thank you all so much for reading.
Okay, thank you for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.